Hi everyone, welcome to this really exciting video session we've got for you to share some of the ideas, impact and the best things that we've found across our schools when using G Suite. Our colleagues on the call are all lead innovators in our schools, brilliant colleagues across the trust that are supporting our schools and schools beyond with using EdTech and technology more generally to improve outcomes, improve work-life balance and push things forward for everyone. So we pulled together this video just to give you a flavour and a feel for how to use G Suite and some of the things that G Suite offers really when you use it. So we've got 3 5-minute high intensity, high power sessions to take you through each of the areas, hopefully really inspire you to get stuck in and start using G Suite. So thanks very much for watching. I'm Richard Sparks, I'm e-learning strategy manager at the Trust, and I'm joined by colleagues Darren.
Hi everyone, I'm Darren White and I'm Learning Technologies Lead for 2 academies within AEP and a Google certified trainer and innovator.
We've got Becky.
Hi, I'm Becky. I'm an Early Years and Key Stage 1 lead at St James Great Academy and also an innovator.
And we've got John, who's going to introduce himself and then kick off our first session. So over to you, John.
Okay, thank you. I'm John Croxton. I'm the Media and Technologies lead at Lee Forest Primary Academy in Birmingham. I'm also an innovator and a Google certified teacher and an Apple certified teacher as well. The things I want to share with you of how Lee Forest has approached our virtual learning through the use of G Suite and Google Classroom. And one of the key things for us is that we have seen really positive engagement across all of our platforms. We're a school that is very strong with social media. We are very good at communicating to our parents across a range of different platforms. So we use our own YouTube channel, we use Facebook, Twitter, and our parent messaging app ClassDojo to get across all of the important information, all of the day-to-day things that are going on in school. During the lockdown, we used ClassDojo with our parents for portfolio-based work and as a messaging service to keep that vital communication link between the school and parents at home. One of the most important things for us was ensuring that our virtual learning environment was as child-friendly as it could possibly be. We're a big fan of using Bitmoji icons in all of our stickers, all of our worksheets, our resources. And if you visit our virtual school on the Lee Forest website, you'll see that we have created virtual classrooms that the children can navigate. It just makes it a bit more child friendly for us and makes it a bit more engaging and a bit more inviting. And all of our classrooms and our subject areas now have these virtual rooms where the children can click on the icons, interact with them, and it just makes it a bit more relevant for them. With our curriculum, we followed the Trust's Phase 3 plan, which meant that we had a simplified scheme of work from our middle leaders that was made to fit into a virtual summer term. Our subject leaders created Google Sheets and files and resources so that individual teacher workload was reduced, and they had objectives that were relevant to the virtual style of teaching. We used third-party apps including Doodle Maths and Doodle English. We used Times Table Rockstar, Spelling Frame and Bug Club alongside Google Classroom. The foundation, as I say, of our virtual environment was always the Google environment, but we added extras onto it to ensure that we had a nice broad package of resources that we could offer to our children. We always explained to our teachers that the main expectation was that the third-party packages supported their teaching and their modelling. All of the teachers by the end of lockdown were uploading either pre-recorded lessons or in some cases live sessions, which were all hosted on the YouTube channel. And we made sure that we were communicating with our parents the daily expectations through our daily timetables. In terms of our qualitative assessment and feedback, our SLT and our middle leaders were regularly looking at the videos, looking at the lessons and the work that was produced on Google Classroom to ensure that we had that quality of learning there as well, and just through providing feedback to staff just to ensure that we were continuing to improve the offer that we gave to our children. Right, I'm now going to hand you over to Becky from St James the Greater Academy, and she's going to talk to you about early years and Key Stage 1 with G Suite.
Hi, so I'm just here to kind of talk about the practical ways that Google Classroom could be used with early years and Key Stage 1 children. These are kind of things that we did in lockdown and things that we're still doing now. So the main thing that we had to think about is that children in the early years and Key Stage 1 can't access online learning as easily as older children. Older children can be a lot more independent, and I think we found that parents tend to give more attention to their older children because they felt like their development was potentially more crucial than the younger children. So the way we kind of got around that was by using lots of video lessons and screen recordings that the children could watch independently and interact with independently. And as we started returning to school, those children that couldn't come back into school, we did live lessons for, so they could log on to a Google Hangout with their parents and with the rest of the class and teachers, and we could teach a lesson, they could interact with that. So they were getting to see their peers and their teachers, and they weren't missing out on any learnings. But again, it meant that they could interact independently, and there wasn't too much of an onus on parents to have to sit and read things to their children. We also are still doing this, and we did it in lockdown, at class assemblies using Google Hangouts. So the teachers and TAs would go online and the children could join with their parents, and we could have a class assembly so we all could see each other. And we're still doing that. We're doing virtual whole school assemblies as we can't all be together again. We're also using Google Classroom now, and we used it in lockdown for uploading resources for children's learnings, but also for support videos for parents. So for example, normally we would do a parent phonics workshop. Obviously we can't do that at the moment, so instead I've created a parents phonics help video, and I've uploaded that to the Google Classroom so all the parents can see that from home. As a dot of the children's learning would be practical in early years, we use the materials section on Google Classroom and the feed to share pin boards and ideas of practical activities that children could do at home. So for example, in maths, we sent home ideas of building 2D shapes with sticks and 3D shapes with sticks and marshmallows and things like that. And then children could take photographs and videos of their work and upload that to the stream or to their assignments, and then we could see what they were doing, which is really nice, especially when the children would have phonics activities and reading homework. We got to see videos of what they were doing at home, so that was nice to see as a teacher. We also, more so in Key Stage 1, but used the quizzes and the forms on Google Classroom for some self-marking tests such as arithmetic tests and phonics tests and things like that. We are able to use Google Form element of Google Classroom for parent surveys. So some of them might be about accessing home learning, it might be about how they feel their children are back in school now, small pulse surveys about how they found lockdown and things like that, so we can get feedback from parents on everything now we're back at school and in lockdown. We're currently using Google Sheets on Google Classroom as an assignment for electronic reading records, so that reading books aren't having to go between home and school. Parents can log on and they can comment on their child's reading on a Google Sheet on the Google Classroom, and we can do the same at school, and it helps us track the children who are and who aren't reading at home. A great thing about Google Classroom when you set an assignment is that you can personalise it to certain children. So especially in lockdown, we ability set for phonics. So that meant that I could give the children phonics videos and phonics assignments. Most children could have phase 2 assignments and some children could have phase 3 assignments. So it's great that you can individualise the assignments and the videos and things for different children in different groups, and you can tailor the work and the resources you're providing based on individual children's needs. Again, as well, especially towards the end of lockdown, as we were looking at transition, we provided lots of story videos and rhyme videos A big part of reading at school is sharing stories with children and helping develop their language and vocabulary, especially in the younger years. So we could record these, and again, it wouldn't require lots of parental involvement, because it meant that the parents could stick the video on, the children could watch us, and they could interact with us on the video. I just wanted to go over a few tips of things that we kind of learnt from our experience, and we're still learning at the moment, is that it's quite important for the tasks to have an element of independence to them. So parents find it very hard to juggle multiple children at home as well as jobs and things like that. So trying to make them as independent as possible so the children can access them. But also parents like helping their children, and it's just reminding them that the children need to have a go independently to be able to develop their learning. A lot of the time we didn't give out worksheets and things and assignments like that on Google Classroom. We did those ideas of pin boards with different pictures so that children could still have the physical experience of using pens and pencils and mathematical manipulatives and physical resources to help engage their learning, and try and provide parents with an understanding of how we teach in early years and Key Stage 1 that's very much through practical learning experiences and kind of real world contexts. Again, we also ask parents to send in pictures and videos of their children's work at home, so that encouraged children to use pens and pencils at home rather than always being online. We found it's really important to make sure that all of the resources you're asking children to use are easily accessible at home. So children might not have printers, they might not have Numicon, but for example, when we did our shapes, lots of people have pasta and marshmallows or some kind of sticky tack or something like that. So it's something to bear in mind. Keeping it really simple, because obviously some parents find it difficult, and children will find it difficult to access the learning without a teacher explaining it. So trying to keep it simple, making sure your instructions are clear and realistic and not overwhelming people at home. And then really important to have a routine so that children can follow. And we found that's helped children coming back into school because they've got that continual routine. It's not too hard. I'm going to hand over to Darren now. He's going to go through some life-saving tips for Google Classroom and G Suite and give you a demo.
Thanks, Becky. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to share with you some of the life-saving features that we found absolute lifesavers during lockdown, and just 4 things really, and I'm going to give you a live demo of those. So we're going to look at comment banks, voice and video feedback, rubrics and reusing in terms of staff, work-life balance, but also in terms of maintaining that level of contact and personal contact with students as we're working virtually. So I'm just going to bring my screen on, and we can see here that I'm in my Learning Tech demo classroom, and I've got some work in Classwork that I need to mark. So I'm just going to go to Classwork, and it's this Unit 1 introduction that I need to mark. So I'm just going to pop that open. You can see that there's a rubric here, which we'll come back to later, but somebody, a really conscientious student, has handed this in to mark. So I'm just going to click on that, and it's going to take me to the section for their work. So I've got the student's work here ready to mark, and I just click on that to open it up in a new window. And this opens up Google Classroom for me. I can see the student's work here, and I've got down the side here the opportunity to mark it. I can also see my rubric, which is the mark scheme that the students have got to follow. And I can just click on these little buttons here just to open those up. We can see what a level 1 pass would look like, or a level 2 pass would look like for AC 1.1. And if I feel that students have already achieved that, then I can quite simply just click to say AC 1.1, they've met the second criteria, or they've met the first criteria, and you'll see it starts to add up their scores for them. So students can see these rubrics at any time, and you can edit them and create your own, and they can see exactly what it is they need to do. So if I said this student was working at a pass on AC 1.2, if I just close that down, they will see that they've got it blued out as a 1.2. If they open up the rubric, they're able to see what they need to do then that's different to move it up to a merit standard. And as you move it, the scores all tally alongside it, and it pulls through into your mark book as well at the same time. But one of the other really important features that I love about Google Classroom, and is a massive time saver, is the comment bank. So this first section here, the student was asked to comment on why customer service is important. And they've talked about good customer service and also bad customer service. So what I might want to do here is just give them a little bit of feedback. So I just click here, and I'm going to add a comment. So I can add that in text just by saying, great that you added both sides. And you'll notice as I'm typing, it was popping up with other suggestions. Okay, so I've just given them some positive reinforcement there. But now I've added this as a comment, we can see that there's 3 dots here, the more option of the traffic lights. And if I click here, I can add that comment to my comment bank. So I click to add it. I can still edit it if I want to, and I'm going to add it in there. And my comment bank sits here. And Google's AI works with that all the time. So every comment that I've added to my bank sits in here. And if I start typing something that's similar, it will start to suggest it for me. So for example, if there was, say, for example, a spelling mistake here, although there isn't, if I just click on here and I start to type S-P-E-L-L, there we go. It starts to suggest the different things that I might have said. I can select them and I can post them really easily. I can click here and I can just change here, for example, anything to do with verbs. I might want them to clarify something. That's not in there yet. So we might say, please add 2 more in greater detail. That actually corresponds quite nicely. So it makes it a lot easier for me in terms of my marking because I can create my own mark bank. Okay. The other thing I really like about it is the ability to be able to use verbal and video feedback. So here, I don't really just want to say, this is good and this is great and here we go. So they would stop using the organization because if the customer servant doesn't care, they feel like, why they should they? Doesn't make any sense to us. So what I might choose to do here is click on the plus button again. And what I can do is very simply, I can use this to paste the link. So I'm going to use Screencastify, which is a screen recorder that's free. So I'm just going to click on my extension to start the recording. I'm going to make sure that I've got my microphone and my webcam turned on, and it's going to record my desktop for me. So I just click record, and you can see I choose my screen that I want, and I just pop up down the bottom here. Now I can move myself like a little cursor almost. So if I want to say that I'm talking about this section, I can move myself to here and say, hi Destiny, this is great, but this sentence here doesn't really make sense. I don't know if you didn't finish it. So I want you to give the reasons why they might stop using an organization and particularly clarify whether a one-off bad experience might be enough to stop somebody using it. Okay. And then all I need to do is just click again on the extension to stop that recording. It opens up in a new window for me, automatically saves in my Google Drive, but gives me a shareable link as well. So I can call this one Destiny Feedback 1, for example, and I can take that shareable link. And in my mark book, I want to add that to this particular part here so that they know exactly what I'm referring to. And I can just open up the comment box and I can post the link to that comment video in there. And the students will be able to click on that and open up that video directly. But they will get straight away their feedback and they'll be able to see it on screen as well. And also see where I am. So you can use that really helpfully to kind of point out certain things on screen and they will get the opportunity. Cursor almost. So if I want to say that I'm talking about this section, I can move myself to here. Okay, so they get the perfect example of exactly what it is you're talking about and where you're talking about it. Okay, in our rubrics then, once they've improved, that might have helped them move up to a level 2 pass. I can add a private comment here, which I could also do using voice feedback. So I might click here on my Mote extension, which is a great voice extension, and I will just click and speak. Fantastic improvements you've made there, really well done. You've taken on board the advice I've given you. Make sure you look at the distinction level criteria in the rubric just to get the very highest levels you can. And I just click done. It's going to listen to my voice note. It will even produce a transcript for me if I want. It can even translate, and I just click post. Okay, it's going to give the students a little play button that they can listen with. They don't need any extensions or anything, they can just play it. My marks are adding up, and I can just click and return that to the student so that they get their grade on what they're at. And the final thing I want to show you, again, which is a massive lifesaver, is when it comes to setting work or posting a comment on the stream, whatever it might be, the best bit for me is the ability here under Create to reuse a post, because that enables you to reuse any post you've ever set in any classroom. So you can see here, I've got loads and loads that are in this particular class, but I can choose from any class I've ever been a part of, and I can go back years and years and years if I want and reuse a post from previously. So if I wanted to do a piece of work around escape rooms, for example, I might click here. It offers to make new copies for me if it wants to, and I'm just going to say, yeah, absolutely, and reuse it. And it's as simple as that, and the job's done. So that's just a couple of practical examples of how great Google Classroom can be for working virtually and maintaining that level of contact with students. So that's it from me, and I'm going to pass you back to Richard.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Darren. And thank you, Becky. Thank you, John, for taking the time to share your expertise and the impact that you've driven in your schools using G Suite. As part of this video, we'll be sharing the information to get in touch. It'd be brilliant to work with you, and really looking forward to hopefully setting up some sessions and providing support. So thanks again to everyone for providing the sessions today, and take care, everyone. Bye.